coverage. First, I want to address crime scene or the crime scene recovery. Where I can report at this time that all the bodies from the Walmart have been removed to the medical examiner's office. We have completed that phase of the investigation. The crime scene is reduced to only the Walmart and the Walmart parking lot. I want to reiterate from yesterday that absolutely no incidents occurred at Cielo Vista Mall. We had early reports of an active shooter at Cielo Vista Mall. I can confirm today that the incident is contained only to Walmart and the Walmart parking lot. The reunification center. The reunification center, I'm pleased to announce, it is fully staffed, and we want to announce to the public that and to thank them for volunteering, but they are fully staffed and they are no longer accepting any volunteers. So please, if you still want to volunteer and help with victims of this incident, please consider making a monetary donation. You can find that information on the City of El Paso's website in order to make a monetary donation at the City of El Paso, texas.gov. Blood donations, the United Blood Service is overwhelmed. We are asking the public that if they are to consider continue donating blood, that they make an appointment. El Paso and the community will require blood services continuously, so we ask that they continue to donate but make appointments in order to not overwhelm those facilities. Back to the crime scene, all vehicles that are in the crime scene will stay and remain. Our investigation will be continuing in that area, and we are unable to release any vehicles in that area until the investigation is complete. The mayor has made a declaration of emergency for the City of El Paso. We will be giving you a press release, and there will be some quotes on the mayor. I won't be able to speak too much about that right now, but we will give you a press release with some quotes for you to take with you. One last thing, there's a vigil scheduled today at Ponder Park. We're asking the public to remain. We understand that it is important to memorialize the victims of this tragedy, but we are asking the public to not come to the crime scene. It's still an active crime scene. Our resources are thin, and we ask that that vigil be contained to Ponder Park. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to the FBI, Ms. Janet Harper.
So, good afternoon, everybody. Again, my name is Jeanette Harper. I'm the Public Affairs Officer for the El Paso Division here. As we said, we're more than a day into this investigation, and we still have a long way to go, but we like to give you updates on what we're working on. The FBI Critical Incident Response Group has deployed some additional resources to help add to our local personnel here in the El Paso office as we assist the police department in collecting evidence at the incident site. The evidence response team personnel has over 40 individuals, and they come from multiple field offices across the nation. These individuals will be conducting forensics review and recreating the crime scene to give the investigators a better idea and understanding of the incident. FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit has sent out personnel to assist in providing behavioral-based investigative techniques and in understanding the complexity of this violent incident. The Crime Services Unit from headquarters has deployed over 18 victim specialists to El Paso to assist the victims, the victim families, as well as witnesses. These 18 individuals have been assigned to the Family Assistance Center over at the MacArthur Elementary School. And what we're trying to do is have those victim specialists assigned to every family so they can get them through this crisis time. At this, FBI headquarters also has agents, analysts, and professional staff working on this investigation, including our Strategic Intelligence Operations Center. So everything that we're doing here in the field is being funneled up, and they're looking at intelligence intelligence from across the Bureau, as well as you have seen FBI Dallas, as well as San Antonio being affected by this investigation. We have members of the Hate Crimes, Domestic Terrorism Fusion Cell working on this investigation as well. We did mention that we had 3 search warrants that were served in the Dallas area this morning. Agents collected several pieces of evidence from each location, and the forensics processing and review of that have begun. I can't give any further details on those search warrants and what we took from those scenes, as those affidavits are still sealed at this time. As Special Agent in Charge Bowie advised this morning, the Hate Crime and Domestic Terrorism Fusion Cell has assigned personnel on this investigation. The cell is comprised of subject matter experts from both the Criminal Investigative Division of the Bureau as well as the Counterterrorism Division. So this will ensure that the investigation evaluates all possible investigative tools, as well as looking at all available federal and state charges that we can put onto this incident scene, and as well as determine the motivation behind this. I'd like to reiterate that we are asking anybody that took video or pictures of the event, please go to submit their digital media to the FBI.gov / El Paso shooting. If you are in the Dallas area and you may have pictures of the subject in that area as well, please feel free to upload that at that same site as well. But we thank you for your patience. We will continue to support our partners at El Paso Police Department in any way they require, and they will remain the lead in the investigation at this time. We are tirelessly working the entire division to serve our community when they need us the most.
Okay, that's all we have for you today. I'll take a few questions if you have them. Yes, sir. We are working on the identification. We're working on notification of next of kin. We're going to release the names of the deceased once we have completed that task. It's an ongoing process. It's lengthy at times, and I don't have an estimate of when we're going to do it, but we will probably release those names as a whole. Can you give us an age range? I can't give you an age range. I don't have it right now. When that's complete, we will put it out with the notification. Were there children killed? Yes, ma'am. Después de esta entrevista vamos a hacerlo en español. Yes.
First of all, we asked you also, were there any children among those there? Can you tell us that first?
You know, I'm not prepared to give you the ages. I don't want to speculate, and I'd really rather have a concrete, solid list.
So my question was going to be, though, when was the first body removed today, and when was the last body removed today?
You know, that process was ongoing all through the night, so I don't have the time when the first body or when the last body was removed. I know that it went on, the investigation with the medical examiners went on through the night and finished up early this afternoon.
It's hard to understand the scene itself, and in terms of the victims, were most of them in the parking lot, and how far into the store did the shooter of the suspect get?
I understand there were some victims in the parking lot. The majority were inside the facility. I don't know as far as how vast inside. That's still to be worked on, but I do know the majority of victims are inside of the store.
Has the suspect been charged yet, and how will the court proceedings play?
Yes, the suspect has been charged for capital murder. He has been set with no bond, and now we'll continue the investigation and move on to the prosecution phase.
Can you give us some more details on how the suspect was first spotted? Was he in a vehicle? Was he on foot? And how was he taken?
He was taken into custody. He was on foot. He was confronted by members of the El Paso Police Department and the Texas Department of Public Safety. He did surrender to officers close to the scene. I don't know that part. I don't know exactly. I just know that he was surrendered and to DPS. I don't know if he was in a car.
Do you know if he had a weapon when he left it in the store? Do you know?
I don't know where the weapon was in relationship to him when he was arrested.
So, sir, I just want to make sure I'm understanding you correctly. The chief said this morning he was in a car, and you're saying he was on foot.
We were talking about when he was apprehended. He was apprehended standing up in the sidewalk. If he was there in a car, I don't know. I don't know.
Two more questions, please.
Yeah.
Since this is being treated by the feds as terrorism, looked at by the prosecution itself, how can you be confident there's a second Confederate to this guy or somebody else out there? How do you know that this is going to happen again soon, like a copycat or something?
So for the first part, you're asking if there was accomplices with him? So at this time, we have confidence that there are no more. But what we're doing is we're looking at extensively through interviews, people that he has known, acquaintances. We're conducting interviews in the Dallas area, San Antonio, and he does not have any contacts here in El Paso. So the majority of those interviews are being conducted in the Dallas area. So through those interviews, we're putting the investigation together to be able to determine if he was part of a group or working with other individuals that were planning any future attacks. At this point, we don't have any credible intelligence saying that there's anything going on in the future.
Last question, please. Have you been able to determine what prompted him to stop firing, or at least to run out of bullets, his gun jam? Yeah, they sent magazine. Photos I've seen. Is there
No, we don't have information on what prompted him to stop firing. That's part of the investigation to get the whole totality of picture of what was going on during that day. I don't have an answer for that.
Do you know how many rounds he fired?
No, that's still process of the investigation, and I don't have a total of that right now.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and start Spanish interviews.
Yeah, we'll probably do it on the side.
Tonight, a special edition of World News Tonight. 2 massacres in America. The chilling scene right here in El Paso and the horrific scene in Dayton, Ohio, too. The shooting rampage here in El Paso inside a Walmart. It's now being called domestic terrorism. Surveillance showing the alleged gunman armed with an assault-style rifle walking through the doors of a Walmart. At least 20 people killed, including a young mother, shielding her 2-month-old son from the gunfire, giving her life to save her son. Survivors running from the gunfire, looking for places to hide. And tonight, our interview with the police chief and what he revealed about the possible motive. The terror suspect allegedly posting a hate-filled anti-immigrant message before the attack, saying he was fighting an Hispanic invasion. And the deadly massacre in Dayton. 9 people killed, authorities releasing dramatic surveillance images late today. The shooter and his victims now identified. And now we learned his sister is among those killed. Police responding in less than a minute. Tonight, President Trump in front of the cameras late today saying hate has no place in our country. Beto O'Rourke from El Paso joining several other Democratic candidates in pointing to the president's rhetoric about race and about immigration. They say playing into the hate in America. Tonight, will the president act? Will Congress act? With at least 29 people dead in 2 mass shootings just 13 hours apart. A special edition of World News Tonight begins now.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, reporting tonight from El Paso, Texas.
And good evening tonight from El Paso. We are here on this Sunday night as the nation mourns. Not 1, but 2 mass shootings in just 13 hours. At least 29 people killed in separate massacres, one here in Texas, the other, of course, in Ohio. We have been to so many of these, and the words, quite honestly, are harder and harder to come by to describe the anguish and the sadness on the faces of the families whose lives have been destroyed. Here in El Paso tonight, a gunman showing up at a Walmart on a busy Saturday morning. These surveillance images this evening obtained by KTSM showing the suspect armed with an assault-style rifle. Families then diving for cover from the gunfire that was relentless inside that store. There were thousands inside the Walmart running in fear, and I was told just today about the children who ran for their lives on their own. Stores nearby were on lockdown as police searched for the gunman, first responders helping the wounded, and of course discovering the dead. So many lives lost here, at least 20 dead and 26 injured. I talked with the police chief here just moments ago and what he revealed to me about the possible motive, why this suspect drove 600 miles to get here. Terrified families, their hands up in the air, running for their lives past armed police. evacuating this El Paso mall. The first call coming in 10:39 Saturday morning.
Run, Mika, run.
There was chaos. Some of the shoppers recording as they made their escape, posting it online. SWAT teams responding to reports of an active shooter, and they soon realize that gunfire is inside the Walmart.
We need tactical units to go ahead and start responding to help support at the Walmart.
There's busting guns in Walmart right now. AK, somebody's got shot.
Inside the Walmart, thousands of shoppers, 100 employees. It was a busy Saturday morning, parents and grandparents and the children buying their back-to-school supplies.
All TAC units, investigative units, please make it to the west side of Walmart, please.
Tonight, authorities say 21-year-old Patrick Crucius was armed with an assault-style rifle, and authorities believe, based on what they've read and what they've heard from him, he was there to shoot as many Mexicans as possible. That mall here in El Paso is just 5 miles from the U.S.-Mexico border. The community from here in El Paso shops here, and so do residents of nearby Juarez, across the border. They come here into the U.S. to